it's so easy for you to get the farm you need, go back to base, buy tier early on, and then teleport back to lane. And now, with Leona ban as well here from ROCCAT side, and actually also the Karma, they really target towards the Rated and feel he's a person we can try and force onto a weird support.
Kha'Zix's also taken away as the final ban there for SK Gaming. It left the Nidalee open. We were asking questions about this one. Will it be banned, as Gambit obviously were doing yesterday, banning that out against ROCCAT? But it's Nidalee. It's Jesus that we know on SK's side that is so very good with this Nidalee. We talked about his KDA. Fantastic he's played on that one. As a first pick, good choice from your side?
Very good choice. Nidalee is such a strong pick. She can lane against everything. Yes, she might fall a little bit behind in CS, but she will catch up and she will be strong in every single scenario when you come into this mid-late game point. So yes, she's definitely worth the first pick. That's also why I'm a little bit surprised I didn't ban away. Everything
seemed to go to plan there for ROCCAT. Leaving that Nidalee open, they're like, okay, we get what we wanted. Jax and Thresh locked in for them.
Yeah, so looking at it now when they just instant lock these two picks, it's pretty clear they wanted SK Gaming. They knew they would first pick Nidalee, so they're like, you get the Nidalee, fine, we take our main support and we also take the top laner at the moment, which nobody can deal with because Renekton is banned away. ROCCAT banned Renekton by themselves. He is the counter pick to Jax, shut him down early game, he's gone. So now they feel confident just blind picking this Jax, and we actually see a matchup we saw yesterday now.
Evelynn and Shyvana going to be the picks here for SK Gaming. We touched on Evelynn for Svenskeren, that he loves these early game ganks, trying to grasp a control of the game for his team.
Early game pressure is what Svenskeren does in every single game. It's what SK Gaming needs him to do, because when you look at SK Gaming as a team, you don't see these insanely strong individual players who are just gonna win the lane by themselves every single time. You see a team which works so well together because of rotations, because of the way the ganks from Svenskeren comes in, the coordination with him. So whenever he picks the early game pressure junglers and he helps out these lanes, they will survive them. They will get to the mid game point where the teamwork really shines.
So the other picks on the other side for ROCCAT, again, you have to feel going to plan for them. Elise, we talked about the fact that Jankos has stayed true to Elise, and he's going to do that here once again. We also see Jinx locked in for Celiva, a champion which he played in both games yesterday, 7-1-9 and 4-9. It's an exact replica of the team that they had there so far.
All the same champions from yesterday. Now, only difference was in the mid lane where they played Lulu and Orianna, so we need to see what Overpower decides to log in. But with this lineup here, what I like about it is you have so many options. You can fast tower push with the likes of Jinx, with Elise of course, who's very good also because she's ranged. She can push these turrets down. Her spider form gives some extra attack speed to push the turrets. At the same time, you got split push with the likes of Jax here, so he's going to be very strong if he gets a good start. And you can set up fights as well with both Jax, the Cocoon from Elise, and of course a hook from Vander.
We're going to see Vayne. We are going to see Vayne for Candy Panda. Last time he brought that out was against Alliance in Week 10. That was a loss for SK Gaming. Also going to be paired here with Kayle, a champion which we saw N-Rated actually bringing into that support role for the first time. In fact, played that against ROCCAT in the third game that they actually met up.
And he's the only support in Europe which really makes the Kayle thing work here. We saw Edward actually playing it yesterday and it didn't work out for him. But in Rated, he was the guy who brought it to life here in Europe, and he really shows many times how strong he is on this Kayle support. The laning phase with Vayne is weak if they get in a 2v2, but once they actually get to like the level 6 point where you get the ultimates for both of them, they can start making plays. So SK Gaming is definitely looking for lane swap, but the same goes for ROCCAT here. They're just fine with lane swapping when they have the Jinx, when they have the Elise, so they can push faster than SK Gaming.
Didn't expect that to get locked in there. They were hovering over Lulu, Orianna, but it's going to be Akali that's locked in for Overpower.
So it's funny with Nidalee being so popular now. A lot of picks comes up just because they're very good against Nidalee, because they can deal with Nidalee in lane, they can try and shut her down. Akali is able to farm very easily against Nidalee here. Once they both hit the level 6 mark, Akali got so much damage to bring, and she can jump, she can dash. Even if Nidalee, very mobile, dashes away herself, Akali can follow. So it's a direct counterpick towards this Nidalee, so we need to see how Overpower handles it. And he needs to be careful because Svenskeren, after the lane swap, if they happen, after they're gone, after they're over, the junglers can start ganking again. And that's where we can see him use a lot of time trying to shut down this Akali in the mid lane.
And the fact is that they've pointed out that middle lane ROCCAT already quite publicly and said middle lane is a weak point for SK Gaming. You look at a video like that and you say, well, you know what they're going to do.
Well, again, that's why we were expecting bans towards Justice, but instead, ROCCAT decided to say, we know what you're going to pick. If we leave Nidalee open, you will first pick it because you love this champion so much. It's the main champion of Justice. We're just going to bait you into picking it. Now we have our counter pick in Akali. I haven't seen the matchup before, so let's see what they can actually do with it, or at least I haven't seen it lately. And at the same time, it also gave them the Jax pick.
Well, with his first match about to begin, let's check your votes over at lolesports.com. 51% of you going for SK gaming here. I was going to say it doesn't get closer than that, but a 50-50 is the only closer option. Very, very close vote.
And this is the #1 team in Europe in the standings against ROCCAT, who came in as number 5, or number 4, possibly. Yeah, number 4 it was. Yesterday, they beat out Gambit yesterday. Fantastic performance, of course. That's why I guess a lot of people now actually believe ROCCAT can take it all the way.
Well, here we go then. It is game #1 between SK Gaming and ROCCAT here in our second semi-final matchup. Really interested to see how this one ends up going in. And interested to see as well how Vander is going to bring himself to the table. He was instrumental. Some amazing hooks he pulled off yesterday.
If he plays like yesterday, he can set up a lot of things here for ROCCAT. And they also got the same combo with Elise and Thresh, where they land a hook followed by Cocoon, or the other way around. So it's a good engage as long as they can land one of these very crucial skill shots.
So here we go then. In game, are we going to see anything at level 1? We've been seeing more and more action here, some of it more successful than others.
Yeah, we've seen a bit of different things. First thing that comes to mind here is none of these teams actually brought a ward level 1. We've seen more and more supports picking up the early ward here, so that at least they got some vision. They can cover an area and then lane wait somewhere else, so they can see if the other team does the same here. But as we talked about in Champ Select, when it comes to lane swapping, both these teams should actually be fairly happy lane swapping. You never mind getting Vayne in a lane swap, so you can get some farm early, get to the level 6 point where she becomes stronger. And at the same time, ROCCAT, with this fast push, with the likes of Jinx and Elise to push down these turrets very fast, they wouldn't mind the lane swap either.
Well, we'll see if that does in fact happen right now. Jax and Shyvana are on the top side of the map. Overpower just waiting here on the top side of his middle lane as well. And down the bottom, Elise already moving forward here. Will this be a later 3-man push around onto that red buff from ROCCAT?
They might actually just miss each other. Actually, no. SK is moving back towards the red buff here, so ROCCAT coming in. They're going to wait for them here. They want them to face check.
This could be dangerous as they start to move forward. The spider link goes out. Candy Panda was spotted. Svenskeren did go low there. Actually, he's going to get hooked into it. There's the slow as well. He goes down and didn't bother to use the flash. First blood actually goes over to Jankos, and now they're chasing down Candy Panda and decide not to push completely through there, but I was about to say they've smited away, got themselves that red buff. In the end, it's Jankos that gets the kill, gets himself the buff back, and now Xaxus is taking their red buff.
Yeah, so 3 buffs now on the side of ROCCAT, and the first blood. Svenskeren should have flashed away from this hook as soon as he saw it. He knew he was going to die instantly if he actually got the hook onto him, so I'm not sure why he didn't flash. And this is one of the reasons we see teams late invade, because once you actually do it, once you are being aggressive, if you pull ahead with it, if you get the buff, you get such a big early game advantage. And now with red buff as well onto Jax, who is going to be stronger than Shyvana up here in this top lane. Very scary stuff for Freddy.
See what Xaxus can do with it. You mentioned his performance against Gambit. Yes, it was indeed a fine one. You can see already putting down a bit of initial harassment there down in the bottom as well. And Rated and Vander just trying to thrash away on their opponents. Candy Panda going decently low. One thing we should really touch on here in this bottom lane is that heal coming out of Venerated, and also the fact that both AD carries running the standard now heal.
Yeah, so obviously with the heal now, with Exhaust, it's a lot harder to get kills in the bottom lane. You don't have this Ignite anymore to all-in burst someone. Exhaust, 50% damage reduction and 30% attack speed reduction is a lot onto an AD carry here, especially early game where your damage is gone. So it's going to be harder for them to pick up kills, but it's going to be easier for them to poke because there is no lifesteal quints anymore. At least very few people actually use them. They go with the attack speed one, so you don't have the same sustain, except now for your heal. But Svenskeren, coming towards this bot lane, he always likes to gank bot lane early.
They're pushed up ridiculously far. The hook lands onto Candy Panda, but Svenskeren making his presence felt. They're going to try and focus down Vander. Here is a summoning heal being used. The exhaust goes onto Svenskeren. Now Celiver trying to slow them. He has to flash away. Looks like they will be able to escape it though.
And look here, with heal, with the movement speed buff from it, they actually managed to get out range of N-rated. And a hook coming.
Hook coming into him, the slow comes down, but Svenskeren is still hanging around from this one. Vander needs to get himself away, the tumble in, and his Silver Bolt's not enough damage to actually finish him off. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, Cocoon's landed on towards Jesus. They're going to try and push through from this one. Overpower underneath the tower, gets the kill. He took a few hits from it, but was enough to keep himself alive, and that will be 2-0 ROCCAT.
And this is so big for ROCCAT here, getting an early kill onto Akali. Also, some extra XP now, so he's going to hit level 6 before Jesus. It means Jesus with no flash, no heal, Akali's just going to jump straight onto him and just force him out of the lane once we actually get to level 6 here. It's a very good gank by Jankos. And bottom lane, the fact they can survive with exhaust, with the heal, get away from Svenskeren, who actually, even though they were pushed all the way up to the turret, very good start by ROCCAT.
See Xaxus once again putting down the thrashings on towards Freddy. He's got an XP advantage over him there and currently leading in the CS tally as well. And as he hits level 6, he only becomes more of a bully there with every third attack doing that extra damage, and he's doing a great job so far. Being a bit of an island so far, this top lane and the junglers, as we expected, focusing more around the middle and bottom lanes.
Yeah, again, for Svenskeren's side, he loves to go bottom lane early when Tiny Panda is playing this Vayne, because he wants to give him some help, give him an early lead if possible, because if you get to the point where you can just farm evenly as the same AD carry on Vayne, then you will always do so well in the late game, because you scale so well. So that's why he puts the focus here in the bottom lane early, and it meant Jankos going mid lane instead could pick up a kill with Svenskeren being nowhere near.
Lots of summoners were burnt in that bottom lane exchange earlier as well. The heal and flash maybe most importantly there from Celiva, so he's got no escape method. Vander still has his flash available, and we'll see if that ends up meaning anything really in this bottom lane before they start to come back off cooldown. Mid lane, as we mentioned before, Akali getting towards that level 6 area. We can see that almost level 6. A couple of minions will do the job for him here. Interesting to see whether he goes all in onto Jesus when he does it.
And the lane is pushing in towards Overpower here, so he will be able to freeze it even once he gets level 6, and Jesus needs to farm with spears. But Svenskeren once again down this bottom lane here.
And he is going to get spotted here as he comes around the side. Not got his ultimate just yet. The chompers do go down. Don't think there's enough damage for a kill here. In fact, Svenskeren taking a bit of damage back himself. Vander was the one that went lowest of them all there, but as I said, not enough damage. AD carrying support weren't really in range to offer anything in that fight.
Yeah, and of course exhaust was not when rated. He wasn't in range for his own slow, so he couldn't actually provide any CC towards the bottom lane of ROCCAT. But still, Svenskeren buys time for Candy Panda to get some farm. You can see the CS difference despite 2 ganks already. It's actually Jinx and Thresh winning out 2v2 as expected against Vayne. And of course Kayle, which in the early game is a little bit weak here, so at least he buys some time for the SK dual lane to get some farm, get to the level 6 point.
So am I wondering whether Overpower will go all in at level 6? Has, well, failed me, let's just say that. Doesn't decide to go for that. So Jesus has it level 6 as well.
He's still forcing Jesus to just farm with spears. So it means for Overpower's side, he's going to get a lot more farm because Jesus won't be able to pick up everything. He just lost a few minions in here, actually. So Overpower doing a very good job just zoning him so far away. He's even out of XP range at the moment.
Not a good sign for Jesus. We see there the spears coming through, able to pick off that back minion, and he's going to get in there for the auto attack. We see just backing away constantly once Overpower starts to move in his general direction. Overpower still got that level advantage. We look at the items there. Early sorcerer shoes actually for Overpower. Yeah,
so early game damage. He wants the early magic penetration, so he's just going to do so much burst, especially if you combine it with Elise here. If they catch on to Jesus once more, he will die again.
One going over into the blue buff, and Jankos is like, yep, I'm going to go in for this one. Svenskeren is level 6, but also around that half health point. Jankos here just going to wait off to the side, and doesn't look like Jesus has really come into assist here. This could be that buff going away from them. Overpower here is on top of a ward as he gets hit by the spear, which doesn't really do all that much damage to him, and there is the blue buff taken.
Very, very smart play by ROCCAT, using the advantage by having the stronger mid laner at the moment, so they feel confident just going into the blue buff. If Jesse tried to follow out and actually fight, he would have been so much weaker, and they would have lost the fight from SK's side, so they had to give it up. It's a very good play by ROCCAT, pushing the advantage.
See whether they can take that blue buff away, and it looks like they will be able to. They can't actually stop them doing this. There's no one around there. Overpower stuck in the mid lane, so Jesus will in fact get a blue buff off that. And of course, Svenskeren did take his red, which he was gifted, or gifted over, I should really say, to Jankos at level 1 when they died to that little invade.
So the fact there was no wards in the river for ROCCAT, they didn't actually see them moving all the way over to the blue. And also Jankos, he decided to recall after he did his own buffs. So he wasn't there to try and stop them, and it meant actually a very smart counter move by SK getting a blue buff.
This top lane, as I said before, being a bit of an island with not much going on there. We see Giant's Belt, a couple of Doran's items for Freddy, Vamp Scepter and Doran's Blade for Zazas. But are we going to see a move towards Dragon here? Jankos is already in position. There is a ward put down, and then Rated may find himself a little far out the hook. Not quite got the range.
But both Rated and Candy Panda now, with the level 6 mark and with the help from Svenskeren, are actually doing really well in the lane. They can start farming even with Jinx and Thresh, so that's very important for them. And of course, Candy Panda, we didn't actually talk about the composition from SK yet. The whole point of this is you want to have, of course, Freddy in one lane, you want to have Candy Panda in a different lane, and then you want to keep Jessis just poking away in the mid lane. The only issue for SK Gaming is the lack of wave clear. So if they fall behind, if ROCCAT decides to just group up and siege down a turret, there's very little wave clear on SK's side.
Candy Panda now up to level 6, as is Celiva. And the support's there as well, so intervention, the box can come into the equation, and that super mega death rocket as the hook lands onto Enraged. Gonna knock him back here as he stands on the chompers, gonna get slowed as well as the cocoon comes down. He's using intervention on himself. It's not gonna be enough to save his life though. In fact, he's stayed alive a lot longer than he really should. In the end, it's Jankos that gets the kill, repels off to the minions, and while Svenskeren coming here to do some good damage, he might actually fall foul as they blow him up. That's a double kill now for Jankos, and now they're gonna go towards Candy Panda. The slow will land, but he flashed into it there, and in the end Candy Panda can walk away from that, but they've lost 2 men.
And you asked before this game actually started, can Vander do the same as he did yesterday? Can he land these hooks twice in a row here, landing the hooks, setting up the kills? Jankos came in, Svenskeren was there for the counter gang, but because they already did so much damage onto him Rated, and because Vayne at this stage doesn't do the same amount of damage as a Jinx, they weren't able to turn the fight around. Kill for ROCCAT, actually 2 kills due to the second hook, and now also a Dragon.
There was a bit of a mishap in there. I don't know if you noticed the super mega death rocket that he fired just as he took the lantern, which actually meant he threw it straight past them and damage there. But they got 2 kills, so who are we really to complain about an ultimate not landing in that scenario? Leaves ROCCAT 4-0 up, Dragon taken, 3,000 gold is the lead that they have here, just over 11.5 minutes in.
Very, very strong start from ROCCAT, really using or abusing the fact that Vayne and Nidalee with the weaker early games here. So they're just pulling far ahead, and Jankos, we highlighted him before the game. Yesterday on at least twice against Gambit, he did the same things. He was so strong throughout the entire game, especially the early game. He's doing the same now. Every single gank he's done, it's been successful.
Seen a lot of people backing away from Elise, and certainly in the bans, we used to see a ban out so very often, but now just left after those changes where everyone, I think there's a bigger split if you talk to a lot of these pro players as to whether Elise is still good or not. It's kind of hard to say she's not good when you look at the scoreboard right now. 3-0-1. Yesterday's games, of course, were also amazingly played by Jankos. That's got to be a consideration next time around, however this game now comes out.
Well, the thing with Elise is she brings so many different things to your team. Like, you can push with her, you can siege a turret because she's ranged, you can get the damage on the turret. She's one of the few ranged junglers we have. At the same time, you got still some very good damage, you still got good Dragon and Baron control. Yes, you can take it, it's a bit slower, but it's still very good control you got over these objectives. So, and also, of course, we see her ganks here. Her late game with a 2-second stun now, it's not bad either, so she's still good in every aspect. We just see a lot of pro players with different opinions. Some prefer junglers with Fatal Flare. They like Xingzao more, they like Nocturne more than Elise at the moment, and that's just different styles, and also depends on your team.
Evelyn, who's now down at this bottom lane, Svenskeren. That's the thing, he's been in position.
Every single game.
He's been in position here a couple of times already. They've not had the damage to really get anything going on. This time could be different though. Vander and Celiva moving out of position. We see Svenskeren coming around the side. There's a 2-man ultimate. Box goes down. Vander is going to go low from this, but can they finish him off? He throws down the lantern to get the shield, but Candy Panda able to pick up the kill.
And the very big, oh, actually in the mid lane. Backing out, backing out. Still, the big difference down the bottom lane here with the gank is the ultimate from Svenskeren. He can actually provide the slow by himself now, so the rest of SK can then follow up, get in range to actually do all the damage, and perfect for them to get the kill onto Candy Panda.
Don't want to let this Vayne get going if you're a ROCCAT ROCCAT fan or player.
Or ROCCAT fan too.
Oh yeah, exactly. Their plan certainly doesn't like to have a Vayne that's fed, I guess, by the end of this game.
Well,
and they've got themselves a Jax, which is, you know, a similar kind of painful when it gets to that late game.
Yeah, so the thing is, both these teams got the potential to do 1-3-1. I mean, you can have Jax and you can have Akali split pushing. You can then have, of course, Shyvana and Vayne split pushing. And they're going to fight each other here 1v1. If it's Jax against Shyvana late game, Jax is going to win. Shyvana needs to back off. She's staying in the damage from Jax in a 1v1. So Vayne is actually going to be all about Candy Panda. He needs to be able to outplay in his 1v1s so SK Gaming can put the pressure on the split push. In the mid lane, it's just going to be Nidalee throwing spears and then Celiva dodging them and trying to wave clear and apply pressure.
See, once again, Overpower actually diving in there, good bit of damage. Tries to shroud up there to get away from the spear, but, well, already on his general direction. That lands in, but you can see just getting all that back with the spell vamp that he's got.
Exactly. Look at the way he's playing. He doesn't mind taking a few hits because he got so much lifesteal and spell vamp, so he can just get it up on the minion wave. Jesus won't be able to pressure him enough, so he can just dive onto the turret, get a few hits, back out again.
Start to dive in there. We know how strong Nidalee's heal is. Also carrying Summoner heal here as well is Jesus, so he's got a good bit of heal in there, but if Akali gets going onto you, out of position as the hook actually landing here, flashed away from, but here comes Jankos. He lands a cocoon as well onto Enrated. The super mega death rocket was thrown, but it was blocked by the intervention. We see that Svenskund trying to get involved here, but I think they might have to back off.
They need to back off for now. There's no ultimate onto Enrated, no flash either, so he's not going to be able to do much in a fight. Svenskund actually goes to golems here, so ROCCAT will get some damage onto the turret.
How much damage onto the turret though? The zap comes through there. The hook and it actually landed there onto Enrated. I feel like he walked into that one. And while it was a good hook, I think he still walked into that one. He saw it coming, ended up in there. It doesn't matter if you walk into it or whether it's spectacular. Vander landed the hook, and again we see him setting up the kills here for ROCCAT.
Yeah, he's really, together with Jankos, every single gang has been combined with hooks and then the cocoon landing, and you set up these kills, these picks from ROCCAT side, and they can now take the turret.
Oh, Chomp has been thrown down there, and the tumble from Candy Panda getting him out of range of that stun. He probably would have gone down if that stun would have landed onto him, but ROCCAT, they don't seem to be stopping here. They're going to keep pushing through, and with that Jinx in there in particular, those towers, you can see how fast it's shredded away. And Svenskund comes in the side, the flame comes down, but Svenskund is going to pay the price here, surely. Yes, he is. It's Celiva that gets the kill. Now Candy Panda going to be focused. Will he get away? The tumble takes him to safety, and Rated gets hit by the cocoon, and Jankos is on a rampage.
And this combo by ROCCAT here, they bring so much CC, they bring so much damage. The nukes they can do when both Elise and Jinx, they got this percentage damage when people drop low, and ROCCAT, pretty far off.
Yeah.
Well, I got a bit too hyped about that one.
It's okay, I captured the replay once. But yeah, that leaves them 7-1 up in kills, 7,000 gold there or thereabouts. Math was never really my strong point, and 2-0 up in turrets. And we see that Zazas here starting to move in already onto that tower. He doesn't really care that Freddy's there, but as the minion starts to go, he's like, I'll use that for the leap strike, get himself away. He's already got that Blade of the Ruin King done, by the way.
Yeah, so the Jax train is going to start. He's going to split push, split push, split push, and it's going to be very, very dangerous to actually duel him 1v1. So Freddy, he's just looking to clear out the waves and then back off, and he doesn't want to fight him. But the bottom lane again, the combo they're using, the composition with these three members, it's the same thing they did yesterday, and it worked the same way. They grouped up, they landed hooks, landed cocoons, and it had so much damage and the execute damage as well. That's whenever someone was low, they could just boom, instantly explode you. And it also means whenever SK tries to fight them here, if someone is down to 50%, he's going to be the first target to die very fast.
ROCCAT are just walking over SK Gaming here. They've just taken that dragon. Now they're going to walk up to this middle tower, and just 3 or 4 hits from Celiva will take that one down. That's all 3. Oh, it's not too light out to turn it down, but Candy Panda getting hooked here at the red buff. We do see the intervention used. Can they get in there for the kill? Overpower going to dive in the middle. It's Candy Panda that's the focus. Has to actually shroud up there as a lot of damage comes in. Jesus from the side as well, as we see the hook flashing by. The zap landed onto Svenskund. No kills resulted there though.
But very aggressive play by ROCCAT. They can do it because the 2 outer turrets are gone, the mid lane and the bottom lane, so they can move into the jungle of SK, put the deep wards and find some key targets.
This could be dangerous for them. No, Svenskund is going to walk straight into the middle of them. That's an easy ultimate to get off onto all 3 members. Vander flashing away, and they've caught out Svenskund. He's going to get hooked. finished off in the end by Celeber, and now Candy Panda in trouble. Is he going to be able to walk off from that? Yes, he is. Vander and Jankos both at less than half. They decided not to follow on through. Still another kill for ROCCAT.
And again, the same 3 members together, the same deal here. SK, they don't have enough damage early game to deal with them. They have so much damage, and now Saz is going very aggressive up in the top lane.
Why not? He got some good damage in there now. Already used that Blade of the Ruin King before, so didn't have that one to really chase on through with him. There were a lot of questions yesterday about whether ROCCAT were really that on fire or whether Gambit were having a bad day or a combination of both. I think the way that ROCCAT are playing here is pretty much identical with an almost identical team, an almost identical lineup that they've got in there. I think that quashes any questions that were asked yesterday.
The strongest part about ROCCAT in this best out of 3 thing, same goes back all the way back to relegation, is the fact their champion selection is so good. They have these counter picks ready because they knew, oh, you're gonna pick Nidalee, we don't care, we're gonna pick this Akali here who can deal with you in the mid lane, and then we're just gonna apply so much pressure. They picked this very strong early game comp with Jinx and with Thresh, and then they don't even care about the Vayne or kill. They just force fights all the time, and they're gonna win them. And wow, Fred actually went very aggressive here.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he could have actually taken him. Got a Sunfire Cape and his Cutlass in there, but that's with that Blade of the Ruin King with almost the Phage in there on top of a Sheen now as well. So he's working his way very quickly on towards that Trinity Force. Credit to Freddy there though, he is technically ahead in that lane on the CS.
Yeah, Freddy's been doing a very good job farming. Still, he got the issue, he can't actually duel the Jax, as we've talked about multiple times, and we will not mention it again in this cast. However...
I might.
You might mention it. I'm not going to mention it. Maybe, okay, maybe once. Anyway, down the bottom lane, we actually see Overpower now starting his split push, as we talked about earlier with the 1-3-1. So he's going to be down here, and one thing about him is this pink ward he actually just planted. He had it in his inventory for the last, I don't know, 15 minutes, just waiting for a time to use it. I actually thought he would use it if he was gonna duel Candy Panda to pop it down when he used his stealth, but instead he actually put it in the tri-bush and very quickly cleared out.
And look at this, that turret going very low. Celeber supported that Svenskeren was coming in, saw that he was under threat. The Lantern was already down for him. He gets whisked off to safety, and that turret survived with very little HP. Meanwhile, the top lane, as we expected, the 1-3-1 split Akali down bottom, Jax up top, and the 3-men death team, which is what they've been in this game so far, pushing mid.
And the thing actually we didn't talk about yet is the lack of hard CC from SK Gaming. So Celebar feels confident enough just with the Lantern from Vander to actually stand by himself and hit the turret. And then Vander stands a little bit further back, throws the Lantern to him, and because there's no hard CC to engage onto Celebar, he will always be able to flick it.
Celebar's going on to Freddy here, and we see there that empowered strike as he jumps back away to Vander. The spear just came flashing through there. ROCCAT, I think, wisely deciding to back away. They've got full vision control on Baron, but we're only 22 minutes into this one, and honestly, ROCCAT probably don't even need it at this stage.
They don't need it, but when you have Jax, when you have Elise, when you have Jinx, you only need 2 or 3 members and you can take down this Baron very, very fast. If Overpower stays in the bottom lane and pulls down multiple members from SK, instantly ROCCAT can just move there and start the Baron.
Ready to try to get rid of that pink ward, but there's a Spider in there which he doesn't want to walk straight into. That will finally get rid of it though as they come back in. And ROCCAT know that ward's down there, so that's an easy take in there when they come in and sweep it.
And look at how SK Gaming is playing. Candy Panda down the bottom lane, farming like he's alone. Svenskeren in stealth, staying around, waiting for Overpower to jump onto Candy Panda, and then he joins in and turns it around in favor of SK. If they do manage to kill him, they can then go for the turret. So they're keeping Svenskeren with Candy Panda for now, just to make sure nothing happens. Or if it happens, they can turn it around.
Xazas has his Trinity Force now, and we've seen Jax has been able to 2v1 people already this weekend. We'll have to see whether Candy Panda even fancies his chances in that one. Does have the Blade of the Ruin King, a couple of daggers in there as well, but he is just backing away from that one. So they're going to go back to that split again, the 1-3-1, this time with Akali pushing the top lane out and Jax down bottom. And
the smart thing about sending Jax bottom lane is the fact with teleport. If he kills Freddy 1v1, he can then teleport up to the Baron by himself. Overpower will already be near, so they can just pile 5 members in there. Yes, you could do it with Overpower in the bottom lane and keep Jax up here so he could start the Baron by himself when Overpower fights in the bottom lane. But they decided actually to send Jax there, so they got the teleport threat towards Baron.
Coming out here, and Svenskun's supposed to be the one that's invisible, but actually he's going to get caught completely out of position, has to flash away there. Will they keep chasing? Super Mega Death Rocket goes through, doesn't really do a lot, but here's Overpower from the side. There's another kill. Zazas dives in. Actually, Candy Panda comes in around the backside. That'll get him one kill. The Cocoon landed, and that'll be another double coming in for Jankos. He's now 6-0-4.
So double kill for Jankos here. Actually, they got a kill onto Silver, so SK got at least something out of this, but ROCCAT now moving instantly for the Baron. We talked about how Jax and Elise can take Baron so fast.
He looks to be the only one that can really do anything. He's just going to ultimate in there, and ROCCAT say thank you very much. That'll be a free kill for us then. Jankos picking that one up. 7-0-4 now for him. Godlike as the Baron goes down here, surely in favor of ROCCAT. Will they be able to spear over? They will, but a little bit too low. Was actually body blocked here by Vander. So Baron goes over with that 2-for-1. Oh, actually, it was 3-for-1 in the end trade as well.
Yeah, very, very good play by ROCCAT. Really using the early game advantage. They're not going to wait around. They're not going to extend this game. They want to just fight, go straight for the objective as soon as there's an option. So very aggressive play by ROCCAT, really abusing this late game comp from SK.
If you look down some of the items here, Gunblade done for Overplow with a needlessly large rod as well. Jax has got himself a Warden's Mail, so gonna start to be getting a little bit tankier here as well. And not only is he doing masses of damage, but it's going to be so hard to take down. Another thing that we talked about early game, or before the game actually, was how SK have been so present and so good moving around the map. They've not had the chance to do it at all this game, losing out on all 3 dragons and that Baron.
And I think SK Gaming lost this in the laning phase, or they fell behind in the laning phase simply by very good ganks from Jankos, setting it up every time, and then the hooks from Vander, of course. And oh, going aggressive.
Yeah, I don't think Selva's going to escape this one. It's Candy Panda that gets the kill to put him at 2-1-1. They may be able to take themselves a turret here. Freddy is headed down. Only Vander is around to defend, and he's not going to be able to. This is going to be the first turret of the game for SK.
And this was the good map movements we talked about for SK Gaming. They have these small tactics they're going to use whenever they are behind, and they do everything they can to get Candy Panda some kills. And now Svenskan beat Cocoon.
Svenskun's dead as well. It's Zazas that gets that one. Now they turn around onto Freddy. He does have his ultimate available, and will use that one just to move off in towards the river. Meanwhile, Enrater and Jesus doing a good job of moving into that middle lane and taking out the second turret of SK's match.
So they got 2 turrets for it. Yes, they gave up a kill onto Svenskan. Stayed a little bit too long, and once again actually got Cocoon. It's been happening many times so far, but Overpower getting some damage on this turret. Jess is coming, and also N-rated right behind him.
Yeah, but you don't want to fight Overpower. He's got a DFG and a Gunblade here.
Ouch. That
is a very, very scary. Akali teleport is going to be coming in. Overpower actually gets hit there by the spear, and Raider going to get the heal up, but there's the damage coming in. He went down without even using intervention. They do get 1 kill back, but Candy Panda will fall. Now it's Freddy that's focused. Super Mega Death Rocket again. I think Selva's trying to miss him on purpose. It was a triple kill for Jax. He's now at 4-0-2, and 3 men down for SK. They're not going to be able to hold on to these towers now.
When there's obviously a DFG that he didn't actually use it, but still, when you have such a good early game start for Akali, such a good early game start for Jax, they have so much damage already. They're going aggressive again.
I think they might have to back away though. Jez actually coming in there. Good spear he gets off as well. Selva now is the tower wrecking machine. He's going to move straight in there. That is the first inhibitor turret of this game going down. ROCCAT going to be backing away. And on the subject of the DFG, I think he didn't want to use it onto Enrater.
Yeah, because he could ult himself, of course.
But he's going to ult himself. As it happens, Enrater died without using the ultimate at all.
So N-rated was the guy to face check because, as you just said, he wanted their DFG onto him so he could just instantly ultimate it, but because Jax joined in, stunned him up, and they just instantly burst him. He couldn't even react in time to ultimate himself, so he just went down so fast. And if you have Trinity Force and Blade of the Rune King so early on a Jax, just those 2 items by itself is so much damage
and
for you.
Randuin's now.
Yeah, now you're just even more tanky, and if he finds Candy Panda in a 1v1, it's goodbye Candy Panda.
Candy Panda himself got that Phantom Dancer now. It leaves him 1.5 items behind Selva if you look overall. Last Whisper and a Negatron cloak picked up here recently by Selva. Yeah, there's Candy Panda trying to push this lane out, trying to get himself even more farm, but honestly he's going to have to run away because the ROCCAT team are starting to move in from this one. They're going to go towards Freddy first of all. A lot of damage coming in there. Are they going to be able to get close enough? Here comes the hook. Miles wide from Vander, not something we've been used to seeing from him. So far in this game, you can't hit him all there.
No, and a max range hook, he was hoping that Freddy would juke to one side. Instead, Freddy took the opposite side, so he completely missed the hook jam. Still, you have to try, and we have to just give credit to ROCCAT when looking at this game. Like, there's not a single time where they just stop and say, okay, let's farm for 5 minutes. No, it's action, action, action. Whenever there's a chance, whenever SK moved out of the base, ROCCAT will go towards them and try and start a fight.
Coming out from Celeber onto that inhibitor, and that is going to get finished off here quickly while still managing to dance around those spears that are coming out. And ROCCAT not going to take any risks here. Ooh. They pick up that one hook, almost catching out N-rated. They're just going to rotate straight to this mid lane and carry on the siege, possibly, or are they going to go to bottom first here? There's a big wave on that lane as well.
But let's see actually how SK Gaming, if they want to try and start a fight, because if ROCCAT are just going to push on your toes, you need to do something at some point. You can't just let them fall one by one. And then Vandal now going towards Freddy.
Going on to Freddy. The box actually put down here. Here comes Celeber from the side as well. This is going to be a lot of damage coming in, but actually they decide not to chase, wanting to get Freddy low there to give them an easier time on the tower.
So what I was trying to say is, how is SK actually going to engage these fights? Is it going to be Svenskeren just walking in the face of ROCCAT, put down his ultimate, and then they try to pile on? Because with Vayne and with NidaLeE, you need to kite it back. But ROCCAT can just say, you know what, we don't care, we're just going to take the turret then. So SK Gaming really,
going on to Freddy. I mean, intervention was used there. DFG and Gunblade came out of overpower. That's a lot of damage, and let's bear in mind that that is the tank that they have right there, and absolutely nuking him down. Not quite 100 to 0, but you know, going close enough and forcing him to back away. ROCCAT not getting a direct turret from that one, but they're going to come back in with this next minion wave and start their assault again.
Always getting some good damage onto the turret. Celeber feels so safe because nothing can lock him down. The lantern from Vander can always come out. You see Vander, every time Celeber gets a few hits, he moves back a little bit. So the lantern is there, he can take it and jump out if Svenskeren decides to pop his ultimate onto Celeber.
And we saw the spear land onto Celeber there, and pretty much 2 or 3 auto attacks heal him straight back up, the lifesteal that he's got right now. So that's also a bit of a worrying sign here. SK trying to hold on to their base as Vander is going to spot them. There's the engage, they're going to go straight in. Svenskeren actually is going to try and run away from this one. It's Overpower now, going to join the party. He dives to the backside, went for Svenskeren, didn't get the kill, but here comes Jax. Is that the cleanup crew they're looking for? Vander, in fact, a lot of ROCCAT players going very, very low from that one. Crucially not dying. That leaves them in a 5v4. And we see that the super minions are actually pushing and have taken down a Nexus turret.
So SK actually engaged when there were only 3 members of ROCCAT. So they got Vander very low, they got Jankos very low. But then Sarsus and Overpower could come from the mid lane and join in for the fight. Turn it around, kill Freddy, and now inhibitor more for ROCCAT.
Wrecking the base there. That's not good, and probably the reason why SK said, okay, we have to fight here because we're going to lose the entire base if we don't do it now.
So when you're so far behind and the enemy team is just pushing onto your base, you can't just sit there and wait. You need to try and do something. They actually did the best thing they could do. When 2 members were gone, they engaged onto them, but at least Repel took some time to kill her. Didn't actually manage to kill her because while she was up in the air, Sarsus came in, Overpower came in, and then when he landed down, there was actually no threat because SK had to run back to their own base.
Look at that gold to spend as well after taking down Dragon. Over 2,000 for both Xaxus and Celeber. That's going to be Jax coming back in with even more ridiculousness to the party. Celeber actually picked himself up the Banshee's Veil.
Now Lichbane onto Overpower, so he's instant upfront burst with DFG, of course, with his Gunblade, and then with his first hit on the Lichbane here with his own Q on the target. Yeah.
You're not going to survive.
It's almost going to one-shot someone like N-rated.
We'll see if it comes to that here because ROCCAT have a Baron to take. SK Gaming is still trying to push those waves out of their base, and ROCCAT are just going to start off the Baron. SK, I don't think is going to come anywhere near that here. This should be the second one of the game going over to ROCCAT.
If SK Gaming... No, I mean, if SK Gaming tried to do something here, it would have been horribly wrong. It would be easy for ROCCAT to just turn around. So wisely enough, they stay in the base. ROCCAT just taking full advantage of the fact they're so far ahead, and because of everything they've done earlier, of course a Baron like this, no problem.
Over 20,000 gold is the lead that ROCCAT are currently handling. And well, if you can't win a game with that kind of lead, then something's going to go wrong for you in the future, I think.
I think we've seen too in this game is the lack of wave clear from SK Gaming. It's been an issue actually, because once they fell behind and tried to just stand it on base, it was no issue for ROCCAT to always get a few hits on the turret because the wave would always come all the way in. Nobody could clear it from SK, so it also meant for them and they were forced to teamfight. And of course, when you're so far behind, there's nothing you can do in these fights.
Zazas actually trying to 1v1 Candy Panda, who turns things around, and we see there he's not even doing that much damage to him. Zazas does this time get condemned against the wall, and he just jumps away, leap strikes off to the ward, and dodges the spear as well. Meanwhile, the rest of the team did in fact take out that inhibitor in the top lane.
So Zazas here buying some time. Again, SK Gaming, they can't fight for the inhibitor, so they need to try and do something else. Every time they try and find a pick, they're just so far behind, they don't have enough damage, and there's actually nothing else to say at this point.
Now they're coming in for that third and final inhibitor. Of course, they've only got one Nexus turret here, SK Gaming, thanks to those minions. TP from Zazas is going to bring him right to the front of the fight as Freddy is round the back here. Not sure that's the position he wants to be in. Intervention will be used, but look at Zazas ripping through them there on the backside. Freddy will go down, and Zazas didn't even take any damage as he charged through. Super Mega Death Rocket on towards Overpower. He's going not quite into the fountain, had enough range to stay away from it, and this is going to be game. 3 men down for SK Gaming. Candy Panda was off in the Dragon Pit. There was Jesus, and ROCCAT pick up game number 1 and step one step closer to the grand final.
And it is fantastic to see them continue the play they used yesterday. So aggressive early game. Finding these right moments to always land a hook, land a cocoon in the ganks, and then they just get the kills and they continue going in the game. They don't stop, they don't sit and wait, they don't farm for 10-15 minutes afterwards. They just keep fighting, keep using the advantage they got. And it's fantastic to see them play like this.
So let's have a look through the scoreboard of this one, because there are some pretty impressive performances to be noted. Jankos, for me, man of the match, 9-0-8 he finished there with that Elise, was absolutely everywhere that he needed to be at the right time. That bottom lane, of course, was just a play.